Hi folks, this is Easy Pickens again. Now I've been getting a lot of emails and calls, and some of it's downright hateful from you guys since I came out as your political action chairman on the Big Oil Man Network and endorsed Barack Obama for president. I know some of you don't understand, but first of all, let me tell you, Barack Obama is somebody we can deal with. I mean, he has sat there in that church. I know that some of you said, well, you think he's a racist or something. Folks, he didn't know what that preacher was saying. I mean, did you see that Stephanopoulos interview? It's like Stephanopoulos had him, and it's like said, what about your faith? And he talked about his Muslim faith, and Stephanopoulos said, you mean Christian? So, if he sat in that church for 20 years, and he don't even know he's a Christian, how in the world, if he wasn't listening to that preacher, is he going to know whether he's a Muslim or whether anything? I mean, he won't know whether he's a racist or anything. He wasn't listening to what that preacher said. Why, shoot, don't worry about it. Now, the second thing, you guys remember, it's like you've always had, you like George W. Bush. We've had some good years. Well, folks, Barack Obama, he makes more talking mistakes than George W. Bush. Remember when old Bush said it's like help you put food on your family and stuff like that? Well, shoot, remember when Obama said there was 57 states? Any teacher in Texas I know of would flunk a kid didn't know, 5th grader wouldn't know that there's 50 states. I mean, I don't know where he's coming from that. Now, remember both of them, when Barack was younger, you know, remember he said he took some drugs and stuff. Well, George Bush, he drank a lot, and it maybe affected their thinking a little bit. So you like Bush, you like Obama. Now the second thing, we've had some good years because old Bush, we haven't got to drill, we haven't got to build any refineries. Do you want to build any refineries? Heck no, we won't get the profits, man. We don't want gasoline to fall. We don't want that price to go down. And we haven't had any drilling. We've been successful. Well, I know Obama lately has been kind of telling people, but you know he's not going to do that. Once he gets elected, he'll forget that. He ain't going to let you drill because those green people are not going to let him. Now, you've been giving money to those green politicians, I hope. We got to elect those green politicians. We got to keep Nancy Pelosi, Harry Reid, we got to keep them in charge of Congress too. Because folks, they want to pay us subsidies. I know not oil subsidies, but I done told you need to get stock in General Electric. Okay, it fell recently. But if Obama gets elected, it'll go up. And we're going to have wind. You're going to put those wind turbines out there. Government's going to pay you money. So you think that we're short of money. Some of you have been thinking that. Well, that McCain, he wants to cut spending. My gosh. Barack, he wants to increase spending. Well, you know, that's the kind of thing. And we've liked George Bush. He likes to spend money. Barack wants to spend money. Barack's going to cut taxes. George Bush cuts taxes. He just went over to those Chinese and he borrowed the money. Who cares? Get those Chinese. Borrow the money from them. And folks, there are some added benefits. Now, we're not going to drill. We're going to raise the price of oil. Barack's going to just pull us right out of Iran and Iraq. We're not going to worry about them guys. Well, shoot, we pull out there, they're going to start killing each other. The oil supply will go down and the price will go up. We'll be making more money. Now see, there's another reason. You got to have turmoil. And Barack is the man. Now, we're pretty good either way on illegal immigrants. Now, those of you that are hiring illegal immigrants, both of them are kind of the same on that one. But folks, we're not going to get any subsidies. And then here's the worst part, folks. Sarah Palin. Good grief. Don't you guys know what she's done to the oil man in Alaska? Why, we're having to pay our fair share. If you gave it back to the people, Good grief. And what's worse, her husband is a union member. Good grief. You wouldn't want a union member next to a powerful person like that. My gosh, she might start unionizing the entire country. Why, it's just bad. It's bad, folks. We got to have an honest. Can you imagine an honest Sarah Palin? It's like down there in the Gulf, where those boys was giving drugs and stuff and bribing them government officials, and they caught a few of them and they're in trouble. I'll tell you one thing, we ain't going to get by with that with Sarah Palin up there. We're going to be in trouble. And that John McCain, he's a maverick. He didn't like any of that savings and loan stuff. He has been fighting us. My gosh. You know, it's like we want people to go borrow money. It was so bad. I thought about going into banking. It's wonderful. Oh man, we're getting a bad rap. They say, we don't want you to have profits. But if you're a banker, you can lose your butt. You could take the thing down to bankruptcy and they'll still pay you money. And they're glad to pay you money. Folks, and Barack is a member, he was one of those Acorn people. And Acorn is the one that said, hey, loan money to those poor people that don't have any money. Let them buy a house for nothing, no money down. Why, folks, we could even reinstitute indentured servitude. Can you imagine? It's like somebody, like you can't have debtor's prison, but shoot, you can have them. They own their own debtor's prison. They'll never pay enough money. Their children, we can have generations of cheap labor living in their own debtor's prison that they have to take care of and maintain because they owe the bank money. Folks, you just need to think about this. This is our man. This is the kind of guy we could deal with. He is a big city politician from Chicago, and once we get in power, those Chicago politicians, we can have dead people voting forever. Folks, in fact, you could even vote. You could put in your will that you could be buried in Chicago and you could always vote. So it's time to come around. I know some of you think I'm Darth Vader or something, turning over. It's like going over to the bad side where I'm going over to the Democrats. But you have to remember, way back when, we were all Democrats. Remember old George Wallace, he was a Democrat. Old Lester Maddox and those guys, they were all Democrats. It's these Republicans that always, it was Republicans started fighting the Civil War, stuff like that. Folks, it's time to get with it. Let's get behind old Obama. He's a man that we can do business with. This is the Big Oil Man Network. And you need to be sure that this tape does not fall into the hands of news media or anybody. Just share it. Let people know. Give money to those green politicians. We want those government subsidies. We got to start living off the government and no more living off our sweat of our brow. That's the new wave. Live off the government, borrow the money from the Chinese, and we can just go on, and the party can go on just like it has been for the last 8 years. Thank you for watching.